because your goal is to try and get it through your system, and your filter mostly is where your gross contamination is going to be for air. So you would normally hook your CO2 to your arterial filter, clamp your inlet, get flush, so it comes back through that and your oxygenator. Okay?
Okay, and you're clamping the distal and...
Yeah, distal to the ALF filter.
Okay, got it. And then it'll flow back
Yeah,
through
come
that
back,
line.
Yep, come back into your oxygenator.
Into the
So
oxygenator.
you're doing it two ways. You're getting all your filters to try to remove the nitrogen in there. That's what the CO2 is accomplishing, basically.
Okay.
So once you've done CO2 flushing, you take it off and put your top back on. And then you guys have your configuration sheet as you go on your inlet and your outlet of your filter, right? Clamp top. So you're going to prime up your bridge and everything first, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So I do it a little differently. I drop the prime before I let it come down into the roller head. And the reason is I'll take the roller head out of the raceway, the pump tubing, so I could walk the volume through so you don't get all that fraction of micro air. It's just something I like to do because you'll see there's a lot of times there's those big bubbles that get caught in there, and the more you keep spinning it, the more it's going to displace micro bubbles and stuff. So. And you can release the clamp because it's not going to go because the hydrostatic head can't overcome the pressure, right? So I'll just walk it through until it gets to the oxygenator. And then we put it back in the raceway. And then we can just start priming up our loop, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's quiet. I'm just watching videos.
It wasn't fully glued.
Well, yeah, because you can see it coming flying up there. And the only way it would be is if these were open, but they're not. So it's basically, should be included now, we'll see. Yeah, see how it's not coming up there anymore?
Yes.
I mean, it's done a little bit.
Yes.
Maybe residual.
If we need to clamp it, I guess we could.
Temporarily while we get the loop lined up.
And this is
This is the loop.
going through the loop, yeah. I don't. Are those Roberts clamps? Yeah, they're sealed. Yep.
Yeah.
The red one isn't.
Now, it's not going to go anywhere because we have clamp here. And then we could prime up your bridge if you want. I mean, it's not going to. This thing's all. It's all twisty.
Yeah, it is.
Don't worry, Alex. I won't hit you with it.
It's okay. Not worried.
Got your filter right. So I'm just going to prime that up while we're doing
Okay. So the arterial filter you just primed up?
Yep.
Okay. Got it.
it.
The arterial filter is coming from that far end right there in that corner. It just runs down, goes up into that portion there. Gotta make sure I keep my thumb out of the way.
Those are all primed up, and then we just need to prime up the filter, right? So, are you guys prime up the cardioplegia as well?
We do.
I'll do that first.
I guess it doesn't matter what you do first, whether you do cardioplegia, but usually we do AFL. Time that out before the cardioplegia.
I don't know what was saying originally. As long as you just get
Do
it
everything.
done, there's really no rhyme or reason to everyone's
So to prime your LF, the easiest way, now we're going to move the clamp because you want to retrograde prime this, right? So that you can de-air the filter. And that's the whole preface of this. So again, just like your CO2 flushing, you would clamp distal, then you would make sure that this is open because it has to have that way to escape the air,
Understood.
right?
Right.
So then you just turn on slowly. Yeah, get that one right now. So that it'll prime up. Normally that's primed up better, but oops.
There it goes. And it's going through the manifold and out the receiving end, and then back.
And so once you get to the top of your filter, you can release your inlet now, okay?
Okay.
And then you can turn it on, and that's when you clamp your bypass.
Okay. He just removed from there, and he went to here. So that
Because
way-
you want to retrograde fill that so that you can force any air out of there, right? And so the CO2 is accomplishing removing the nitrogen, so you have a minimal amount of bubbles. And so you would de-air it as much as you can. And so our loop is pretty much primed up, right?
Yep.
So all we have is a cardioplegia valve.
Okay.
So, that's why that's research built in here. So that you have a way of relieving that pressure.
Okay.
This is the, you can turn it on. What I do is simultaneously you turn on, because where this bridge is, the pressure from the system is gonna push it up into these. So I could actually technically just open these and they should prime, right?
Right, we've got a leak right back here. Oh, it looks like the heated cooling.
No, that's the pressure. Okay. That's where it relieves pressure. Is this? Ah, here's why. See?
Oh,
It's in the wrong direction.
Wrong direction, got it.
There we go.
That's it.
So now it should work. Alright. There we go. So then, since we have our open, we can just start to float. Once we got float here, we got a floor flow in it. Try and open it up. Probably good. Let's see that. And so you push these into the filter to de-air them.
Okay.
So this way you don't have to squirt on the floor. And you'll see a lot of people do that just to make sure you get those really de-aired, okay? So we got this primed up, and we can simultaneously prime this up as well. Just barely open it. And it's going to be very difficult to get all the air out because of these have been primed so many times, right? So what I like to do is once there's fluid in all these, I definitely go ahead and recommend zeroing these because right now we don't have a way of pressure shutting anything off if it was pressurized, right? So are you guys familiar with going into this configuration to zero those? All right. So the way the System 1 works is everything is up here on the CCM, but you can also go into the safety tabs and go into pressures and toggle between arterial and cardioplegia if you want to. But the nice thing is wherever there's a pressure, if you had 3 pressures, all you have to do is touch it on the screen.
Okay.
So now those are zeroed. We have a way to make sure that our system will shut off if we need to, right?
Right.
So you can see now we're generating a lot of pressure. I think they're flip-flop, tell you the truth. So that's reading oxygenator. That's actually pretty clean.
This is just where it's hooked.
Yeah. Can't see that being that high. Let's see here. I guess it is. All right, good.
These are tubing that's just been used so many times.
Yeah.
It's probably, those are the issues.
So what else does she have on there for?
It doesn't look like we have to do that.
Yeah, not
But
on this
that's just
round.
Probably still good to,
To zero?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I would recommend zero, especially when you're priming with a roller pump,
Yeah.
because a centrifugal pump, it's very difficult to blow anything off because it's a non-occlusive pump.
Yeah.
But if somebody inadvertently clamps that, it has nowhere to go except the weakest point.
That's where the plunge priming is where this ends.
Okay.
But yeah, still,
Yeah.
once you do everything else, make sure it's
But anytime you're like priming these things up, you can take a cap off of something and put it in there and just use that. So you don't,
Yeah.
you'll see people shove it into a garbage bag. There's no reason to. Why are you going to do that?
Yeah.
Just wasting fluid, right?
Yeah.
Just put it back into your system and then it'll be good.
I think the last step was just hooking up the temperature probes and the oxygen detector. But I don't know if there's.
Is the bubble
Bubble detector? Yeah. Probably let me put it on. Either that or, sometimes on the outlet, depending on, I don't know where she has you guys putting this on her. But, again, you see the little bubble detector? You can go through here and do the air detector if you want. If you just click on that, it'll come right up to you. That's it.
Fantastic.
And then priming is done.
And the temperature probe will go into. This line here is the cardioplegia, which goes to the surgical fluid. So clamp it off.
Still generating pressure. Yeah, so that's cardioplegia. That is a pressure relief port on the back there. So if you had things backwards, it had a way to relieve the pressure so that you don't blow the system up.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason I take that out of there, like I said, even when I do centrifugal pumps, I just say, I clamp the outlet of the reservoir. I get a pressure head and I walk through because the one-way valves you'll see, if you prime them up very fast, a lot of air gets trapped on the
Yeah.
sides of them. So I take my time getting it through there. Once you